right, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. My name is Emily Smith, and I am an international admissions counselor for Western New England University, based in Springfield, Massachusetts. Want to first thank ApplyWave for having us and the ability to host this presentation. So I want to talk to international students about how to fund your education in the United States. There's a lot of factors that go into coming to the United States for your education. So I am just going to talk about the funding piece of it. So again, thank you so much for joining us. The first thing, we're going to dive right in. The first thing that I always tell students to talk to universities about is looking at the total cost. So the total cost is not just the tuition. The total cost does include tuition, room and board, which is your meal plan and where you'll be living, as well as fees such as health insurance, books, lab fees, personal expenses, things that come along with living in the United States. So when you're speaking to institutions, you want to make sure that you understand the full breakdown of that cost. One thing that we always like to highlight to international students is that there are very few schools in the United States that will give a 100% fully funded undergraduate scholarship. This means that they might be able to cover the full cost of the tuition. They might be able to cover the full cost of tuition and room and board, but there is always going to be some sort of fee that is associated with moving to the United States and continuing your education in the United States. And this could include health insurance, plane tickets, anything like that, changing your wardrobe if you're moving to a climate that's a little bit different than your home country, always going to be some costs associated with that. So for all universities in the United States, before we issue an I-20, which is basically the ticket that you receive before applying for your F1 student visa, all universities have to show the following equation of financial funding before issuing that I-20. And this includes tuition, room and board, plus fees, minus any scholarships that you might have gotten through the university. And that is the amount that you have to show on your financial documents. These financial documents include an affidavit of support, which is a written statement saying that you will receive the money that you have shown in your bank statement. And your bank statement is that lump sum of money that shows that you will be able to pay for university. So the next part of the presentation is talking about how are you expected to fund this education? And there's a few different ways that students can go about this. The first way is through merit scholarships. So one of the top things that I always tell students is that merit scholarships and scholarships will vary per university. So I can only speak for Western New England University and how our system is set up. Our merit scholarships this year range between $11,000 and $22,000 per year. And so our policy is that any accepted student into one of our programs will automatically receive these merit scholarships. This is based on we calculate it a couple different ways. If you decide to send in SAT or ACT scores, which are not required, but you can send them in, we will take 50% of your high school GPA and weigh that against 50% of your SAT scores. And that will spit out a numerical grade that tells us what merit scholarship that you should receive. The other way that we calculate these merit scholarships is based 100% on your high school GPA. So we have gone completely test optional this year, one for COVID reasons, and two, we were moving towards that direction anyways. So you don't actually have to send in any test scores if you don't want to. But the other way that we calculate it is by taking your high school transcript, looking at your grades, and based on the grades that you received in high school, we can give you a merit scholarship anywhere between $11,000 and $22,000 per year. Again, I cannot stress enough that this does vary per university, and that's not how every university does it. It's just how Western New England does it. So if you are a student who is, on the cusp of their grades, or, you had a rough year, For Western New England, that is perfectly fine. We look at your grades in more of a holistic manner. That means that if you had one bad year where you struggled a little bit, we would look at that and say, you know what, it was only one bad year. They picked right back up, or they wrote about their rough year in their essay. It's all about that personal experience and getting to know you better. So the more information that you can give us in your application, the better we'll be able to get to know you as students, and that will help through your application process. Other Western New England scholarships that students can apply for and receive upon acceptance include the You Are Welcome Here Scholarship. So this year, our You Are Welcome Here Scholarship deadline is April 1st to apply to. So all we need is a personal statement that explains how you demonstrate interest and personal initiative involving intercultural learning and exchange. So the You Are Welcome Here program is across many different universities. Western New England was lucky enough to be one of the founding members in the You Are Welcome Here scholarship, and is just a testimony to how much we love our international students here at Western New England and how much we value what you bring to our campus. The way that the You Are Welcome Here scholarship works out in terms of money is that it ranges between $3,000 and $10,000 per year. And this amount will cover at least 50% of tuition with your merit scholarship included. So what that means is that if your merit scholarship, if you received $22,000 per year, your merit scholarship plus the You Are Welcome Here scholarship will cover at least 50% of tuition, not the whole cost of attendance, just tuition. On the other end of it, if you receive our $11,000 merit scholarship, again, we will cover at least 50% of tuition with the You Are Welcome Here scholarship if you are awarded that scholarship. And then this is a renewable scholarship. This means that it will be added into your total cost every single year. So for 4 years, you will receive this You Are Welcome Here scholarship if you are initially given it. The next scholarships that I'll talk about are major-based scholarships. So a brand new scholarship to us, the Social Justice Grant, is any student who is accepted into our criminal justice, law and society, or political science major will automatically be awarded this grant. It's great. You don't have to do any additional applications for it. There's not a limited number of students who get it. Any single student who applies to any of these majors listed below and is accepted will receive this award. And it's an additional $3,000 per year. And like the You Are Welcome Here scholarship, it is renewable each year. And then finally, the Women in Business and Women in Engineering scholarships. These are 2 years old, so they came out just last year. And this will go to any female student who is accepted into our College of Business or College of Engineering will automatically receive this additional $5,000 per year. And again, this is a renewable scholarship. So when you think about it, if you were to receive the $3,000 a year You Are Welcome scholarship, a $5,000 a year Women in Business scholarship, and your $22,000 merit scholarship. I wasn't a math major in college, but that comes out to just about $30,000 right off the bat that you get just for being accepted into Western New England. And that will bring down your total cost of attendance. And so like the math that I just did, it shows that all of these scholarships are stackable on top of each other, including the merit, which means that you can have your merit scholarship and the Women in Business and the You Are Welcome Here. And we don't ever take away from any of those scholarships just because you've received another one. The next piece is financial aid appeals, which is something that even I personally didn't even know about until I got into higher education. And it is a really great tool for students who are just looking for a little bit extra money that will help put them over the edge into being able to fund their education in the United States. So the financial aid appeals can be requested through the Office of Admissions at any university. Like I've mentioned before, I can only speak for Western New England University, but this is something that we offer every year, and it's an additional few $1,000s that you can appeal to. If you think that, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 extra a year would make a big difference in your university experience and being able to fund your education. This is not guaranteed. However, if you are granted the financial aid appeal, that means that you will receive it every single year. And for international students, it's very important to know that a FAFSA form is not required for a financial aid appeal. Many students might think that because it asks for like social security number. That is just, you can skip over that. You do not need to fill out the FAFSA form to qualify for a financial aid appeal. Now I'm moving into outside of Western New England, so this will qualify for other universities as well too. But the next section is called third-party scholarships, or outside scholarships, as we call them at WNE. So these are scholarships that are not through Western New England or through your home government. Here is just a list. I will pause on them. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but a lot of these are through NGOs, the U.S. Department of State, local embassies will have scholarships that you can apply for. The biggest part about finding ways to fund your scholarship is using the resources around you. Use Google, use these embassies, because I can guarantee you not a lot of students take advantage of it. So if you're the one applying, there's a better chance of you getting these scholarships. I wanted to highlight a few of the programs that were just on the slide previous. So the first one is our Fulbright Scholarship. So this is actually a program that is specifically for graduate level students. Excuse me. However, it does go to, if you are in your undergraduate years and you are looking to plan ahead and study in the United States, or you're in the United States and you're looking to stay in the United States for your graduate level program, you can plan ahead up to a year in advance to apply for these Fulbright programs to fund your graduate level education. They're available in over 160 countries, so the expanse is wide. And then application details and program eligibility will vary per country. So you have to go onto your specific country's Fulbright site just to get a better sense of what that application process looks like. The next is the Education USA. This program is in over 170 countries and territories. It's sponsored by the US State Department. So obviously, like, it is something that is founded and grounded, and you know where the money's coming from, and it's a really rigorous application process. But one of the best things about these programs is the advising center that you can have for all of these different programs, because there are advisors, like I'm an international admissions counselor, there are advising centers in all of these programs that just want to help you get through this process and answer your questions that you have about how I can get into this program and how I can fund my education better. So again, going back to that theme of, make sure that you are using those resources that we are putting in front of you, because we want you to be able to come to the United States and be fruitful in that. Now, once you have actually gotten onto campus to Western New England University, or really to any university, because there are ways that you can work on campus. So as an F1 student, you are able to work 20 hours per week on campus. That is a federal law. This is not something that is set by universities. However, it is important to think and look about what the minimum wage is in the state that you are going to. Because if you're able to work 20 hours per week, let's say in Massachusetts, I believe our minimum wage in Massachusetts is about $12 per hour, as compared to some other states, which might be higher or lower. So after 2 full semesters of on-campus training for your education, you will be able to apply for CPT or curricular practical training. And this is so that you can work off campus for 20 hours per week. This does have to be in a field of your study. So if you are studying to be an engineer, unfortunately, you can't go work as a clerk or an assistant. It has to be something in your field. But those 2 full semesters is traditionally a 1 full year. So after your freshman year of being in the United States as a student, you can apply for this CPT. And then if you are working on campus, we have a bunch of different programs that can help connect you with offices on campus as well as off campus in our Career Development Center. So I can say with pretty much 100% certainty that almost every university will have a career development center. It's important to go and make sure that you're meeting with career advisors, fixing your resume so that it reflects the skills that you have so you can go out and get these jobs once you apply for CPT. It also, if you are not exactly sure what you want to be doing or where you want your career to go, there are also assessment tools that we can help guide you to make those decisions. We also have on-campus recruiting and job searching. So we have companies come onto campus, interview with our students all the time, and this extends to international students as well. Again, this is just something that you can use to lower the total cost of attendance for coming to university while also gaining experience working in the quote unquote real world with internships or job opportunities. And that was a lot of information to take in all at once, but I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into what it takes to fund your education and ways that you can fund your education. I have listed my contact information on the top line. Again, my name is Emily. My colleague Rachel Lamson is also at this fair with me, and she would be more than happy to take your questions as well. And I've just listed our general email admissions with international admissions email, as well as our WhatsApp number that you can reach at any time. So with that being said, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them now. Perfect.
Hey, Emily, there are currently no questions. Let's give them a minute or so.
Okay, no problem at all. No, have to process a lot of information all at once. So, but again, I will actually go back to the page that lists the third party, because I think these are wonderful resources, especially if you are just starting out funding your education. Always start on these types of websites, and then you can branch out into maybe a more general search, whether that's going onto Google and typing in women in STEM scholarships, business scholarships, psychology scholarships, and starting your search there and using those essays that you write over and over again. That way you can apply to as many scholarships as possible that you find either on the web or through these programs.
And Emily, that scholarship that you had mentioned, the women in business, and I believe engineering as well, are those automatic?
So the social justice grant and the women in business and women in engineering scholarship, those 3 are automatic. So that means that there's no additional application. You will receive that scholarship if you are accepted into any of those programs.
So they're guaranteed?
Yes, that's correct.
And they're stackable with the You Are Welcome Here scholarship?
Yes, they are. So the You Are Welcome Here scholarship will only go to 3 of our international students who apply and are accepted. But if you do receive the You Are Welcome Here scholarship, then it is stackable on top of the merit scholarship, $11,000 to $22,000 per year, and the social justice grant or the women in business or women in engineering.
Okay, thank you so much, Emily. I don't believe there are any further questions. I want to give everyone a last reminder that there are only 10 minutes left to apply for the free Duolingo English test. This is something that you need to take to study abroad. You need an English test. Duolingo is one that you can do from the comfort of your own home. Right now, we have only a couple of submissions, a couple of submissions right now, and so you have a really great chance to win that if you participate in the contest. So 10 minutes left.
Great. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. That works.
Okay, looks like I do have a couple of questions.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Do you accept transfer students?
We do. So we have transfer students that can enter in the fall semester as well as our spring semester. So if you are a transfer student, all you will need is your high school transcript and your current university transcript, along with the online application and a proof of English proficiency, which we also accept Duolingo. So definitely go and sign up for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
The screen is, we don't see it.
Also, our undergraduate international international transfer students eligible for those scholarships that we mentioned?
Yes, so they will be eligible for our merit scholarship, which ranges between $11,000 and $18,000 specifically for our transfer scholarships. Unfortunately, they don't qualify for the You Are Welcome Here or the Women in Business, Women in Engineering, or Social Justice, but they do qualify for that merit scholarship. And if you have, I believe, over a 3.5 GPA, once it's recalculated to a US scale, which is something that we as admissions counselors do, you automatically receive that $18,000.
Awesome. And so that was actually another question. What is the GPA required for the scholarships?
Yeah, so it does vary for our per major. So for a major such as engineering, we are looking for a little bit higher GPA especially in math and science. Then some of our other programs, business, we're looking for a high GPA in math. And then all the other programs, we look for a minimum of about a 2.8 on a US 4.0 scale. That is the minimum GPA that we're looking at. Obviously, if you have a higher GPA, that is great. The average is about a 3.4.
Awesome. So that's not super hard to achieve. It's achievable for sure.
Absolutely.
Another student is asking, where can I find a full scholarship? So of the third-party websites that you shared, do you know if any offer full scholarship?
For graduate level students, the Fulbright Scholarship is completely full. Unfortunately, for undergraduate, I think a lot of those programs are only partial scholarships. But if you take into consideration the merit scholarship that you are already getting from the university, it's not like you would have to receive a full scholarship anyways. It would be partial with the merit scholarship included. I have not seen students be able to cover the 100% full cost of attendance. That is very difficult. However, I have seen students receive a $10,000 scholarship from an outside organization or a third-party scholarship. And so, bringing down the cost significantly is absolutely possible.
Okay, very good. And other question, have the classes at your campus, have the classes changed due to COVID? Are you hybrid? Are you fully online?
That's a great question. We have actually been very fortunate. Back in the fall of 2020, we were able to bring all of our students back onto campus safely. We have been participating in on-campus courses from the start of quarantine, or rather from fall 2020. and have brought our students back for the spring 2021 semester, and they are in class. We have our classroom set up in a socially distant area. So we have moved like smaller classrooms into auditoriums so students can spread out. And our students get tested on a regular basis. So lucky that we have been able to bring students back onto campus, but we are taking the COVID precautions very seriously.
That's super important. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
What is the minimum score required for the TOEFL test?
Yep, so we require a minimum of 79 for the TOEFL test. We have a couple different ways that you can meet the English proficiency requirement. For IELTS undergraduate students, we require a 6. TOEFL, like I just mentioned, is a 79. And Duolingo for undergraduate students is a 105.
All right. The student that asked if you were having courses back in class or in person, says they're very grateful about that.
We are too. We're so happy that we've been able to bring our students back onto campus, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that everyone stays safe, and hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months that we can get students vaccinated. So we can go back to not wearing masks on campus and being able to fully engage as a student body.
Oh, yes. Do you know if international students, if that would be an option for them?
I am not 100% sure on what the policy is per the state of Massachusetts. However, they do have health insurance that falls within Massachusetts state guidelines. So I'm assuming that they would qualify once their group qualifies. Like I am one of the last groups to be vaccinated just because of my demographic. So I think students fall into that same demographic. But once they are able to, once we're up next in line, I'm sure that international students will be able to get vaccinated.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So we're going on almost half an hour. So let's end it here. And if you have further questions, please reach out to Emily or Rachel at Western New England. And thank you so much, Emily.
Of course. Well, thank you all so much for having me. And we look forward to speaking with all of you.